Hello and welcome to A Celtic World, a YouTube channel and podcast made by Celtic fans all over the world, for Celtic fans all over the world. From Springburn to Seoul, Barmulloch to Bondi, wherever you happen to be watching from. You're very much part of A Celtic World, and let's say hello to one-time regular, now we don't see him so often on the main show, Dano in Korea. What up, Dano?
What's going on? Well, that's about to change, man. Got the new job starting next week. So from next Thursday, game if you need me. So
that's pretty good because that will coincide with my departure. I'm away for a few weeks to Ireland, Scotland, Italy. Sounds like I'm on some sort of a Tim pilgrimage there, going to Rome, Glasgow, and Belfast.
Yeah.
The Holy Trinity.
Right.
And speaking of the Holy Trinity, let's get on with saying hello to Stephen as he unmutes his microphone. How are you doing, Stephen?
Very well, Gav. You might be lucky or maybe unlucky to be in Rome around about the time of the Holy Father's demise. Things not looking great by the looks of things. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for you. But happy to be here. Nice to see Brian and Dano and your good self, obviously, and looking forward to a bit of a blather.
What's more exciting is the potential for the Hearts game to be meaningful, but it needs more points to be dropped, doesn't it? I think.
Mm-hmm.
But who would bet against that, Brian, eh?
Yeah, that's great. Listen, as Barry says, yeah, it was a great weekend. Just absolutely. I was just watching so many Rangers podcasts and Heart and Hand and all this nonsense. I'm addicted to it. Like it's the should stay away, but hey, it's great. Great to be a Tim.
But so, what do you say to their accusation that you shouldn't be there? You're just obsessed with the famous.
The cat can look at the king. Remember that statement? Yeah. So you don't have to be a fan. Or the cat can listen to the king. Yeah. He's not very intelligent, Barry, is he? To be fair, the media gave him a bit of an easy ride for the first after the defeat. I thought if it had been anyone else, they would have really went for the jugular. So they're judge me at the end of the 3 months, is what he keeps saying. But enough about them.
I think it's if anybody who's saying that you shouldn't be watching Rangers podcasts and having a good laugh at them, it's a little bit daft, isn't it? That's what sporting rivalry's all about, and it's the same in every corner of the globe you go to. Even more pronounced in Scotland, where we probably hate them 10 times as much as a normal sporting rivalry. But if you're saying you're not supposed to tune into their podcast to get a bit of entertainment out of watching them suffer, then having gone just to go all Celtic daft for a minute, if you've lived through the 90s, then you're just lapping this up, and every single tear shed by Remens is something to rejoice.
Something to rejoice indeed. Here's Monty lamenting that some of these Celtic podcasts are members only. Of course, that's not true with us. We're open to everyone, completely free, nothing behind a paywall, Brian. Huh?
Absolutely,
reasons to subscribe. Well, one thing I could do is make it the comments only for subscribers. That might encourage a few people. Haven't worked out how to do that yet. But just saying hello to a few people in the chat there. Lots of regulars. I mean, I watch the occasional Rangers podcast. It's purely for comedy value. That's all.
We all do. Come on.
I mean, I love you've been framed. I know it's cheesy, but I just love people falling down the stairs and slipping and jumping in, doing the high dive off to go into a pool, and the water goes everywhere. It's immature. But it's good watching the demise. I mean, we used to have an old boss in the 90s, and he used to come in on the Monday morning and say, "Brian, is your mother well?" So it'd be nice to say to a couple of the lads, how's your mother keeping? Is your mother well after the 2-1 result? There we go.
All right. Well, look, what are we talking about today? I hear you all ask. Here's the menu. I haven't shown this yet, have I? No, I don't think so. The Mirren game, obviously, is coming up first. What did we learn? Individual performances, bit of Sefco comedy, just, an extension of what we've just been talking about. We're going to welcome Dano back with the segment that we've done with him a few times, educating Dano
Oh, man.
in the ways of the Scots language, well, Scottish sayings, and a little bit of an American pronunciations if we have time for that. And then, of course, we have to find time for the cup game preview because there's a lot riding on that now, and it's shaping up to be a very exciting one. So let's crack on with the game. Shall we fly through these images? Let's start with you, Dano. 27 minutes. Kuhn feeds Schlupp. Nobody senses any danger.
Sloop had an amazing game, man. I mean, if I wasn't a full-blown member of the Yang Gang and, with what he did after coming on, Sloop would definitely be my man of the match. And this was just a perfect encapsulation of it. He was everywhere, especially in the first half. I believe he gets the ball here, kind of cuts it inside. Nobody's sensing anything. They don't think he's going to shoot him. Bam. Beautiful.
He does. He unleashes it and right into the far corner.
Yeah. Great shot, man.
Great to see him scoring.
Pool. There's a worldwide CSC shout out there from Kaiser. And David joined us for most of the game, and he was steaming, man. Oh boy. Actually got in the pool and it was freezing. He was out sitting by a pool. It was freezing cold. The water was ice cold. And so he jumped in mid-game. He's holding up his phone. Oh my God. It was quite the event on Saturday night.
Very good. That doesn't happen on other shows.
No,
for sure.
No. You get that kind of only that kind of quality here.
Mm-hmm. But a great finish, Stephen, right into the far corner. Beats the keeper, all ends up.
Yeah, excellent strike. Laser focused right off the far post, and I think he's been threatening to do that for a few games now. Schluppy's got a really tidy left foot on him, and I do agree with what we said already. He had a really good game, such an upgrade on Taylor in almost every facet of his game, and I think he had a couple of at least one other assist in the game as well. So really good from Schlupp, and it brings up an interesting point about whether we should be looking to make the move permanent in the summer. He's out of contract. I know his salary's probably at the moment would be out of our wage structure, but he's 32 years old. His next transfer, he's not going to be earning anything like what he's earning now. So I think there is a deal there to be done if we want to do it. With KT incoming, I think it's probably a bit of business we should be looking to do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Good looking player.
But back to this game, 32 minutes, Brian. We certainly didn't have it our own way. Some of them were there to play.
No,
scored an amazing free kick.
They were very physical in the first half, and it made it uncomfortable. The pitch wasn't great, but this guy, I think he's on loan from Rangers, Declan John. Great left peg. It's one of them ones that's hits the bar and comes down, bounces. Just looks really, really tasty free kick. Everything went well for him. Fair play.
It's funny that Rangers have a guy called Declan. Isn't that a term of abuse that they use towards us, calling us Declans?
I know they call Brendan Brenda whenever they're giving off about Brendan.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Declan. I don't know.
Have you never been referred to the Declan on social media?
Yeah, I've heard it said, but my son's name's Declan.
So, no.
It's quite close to home for me.
Very good. All right.
Do you remember your guy's surname's John? Do you remember Fulham had John Collins playing for them?
Collins
John. So
yeah.
Declan John, that made me think of that.
Very good.
And a nice wee tune from the Piranhas when he scored. Did you pick that one up, Gav?
What's that?
You know the song by the Piranhas? That's one for the kids there. Whenever he scored the goal, they played the Piranhas.
I didn't notice that.
No. Okay.
Let's kill that one then.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll just get my coach.
I noticed it, Brian, if that helps you.
Thank you.
Right. The sympathy mode.
All right, what about this moment then, Dano? This was the penalty, a foul on Maeda. Any issue with that decision?
No. It seemed like the St. Mirren player, I forget his name, was really all over it. But admittedly, I didn't watch it very close. Definitely seemed like a pen. I mean, he comes right through him. His knees up. It's not. I mean, Maeda. I think this is the weird thing about penalties is if you're not trying to just sell it, like once you get contact, you just crumble like a house of cards. If you actually kind of try to battle through it, like Maeda seemed to do right there, you have like kind of an inkling of doubt as to whether it was a penalty. And I think it definitely was. There's definite contact, and that's pretty much the end of the story nowadays. So, but admittedly, David was getting up to some antics right at this point. So
David was fantastic.
he was in fine form. I'll tell you what's really ironic about the watch along on Saturday night was Kaiser saw the image I put together of it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're trying to kind of lean away from the drinking and all that kind of stuff." 10 minutes before the game starts, or before we're supposed to be on, he goes, "Hey, running to go get some beers." So I'm like, okay. And then with David there steaming away, man, it turned into a full-blown drink along, as we called it in the old days. But yeah, we were on for about 3 hours. We stayed on well after the game. But yeah, that was a penalty, man. It was a penalty.
Speaking of drinking, Mickey from Finnegan's in Italy, in Rome, is saying that Cameron, the manager of his pub, is his first cousin. I think he means the first cousin of Declan John. It's quite interesting. Little aside there. All right, let's crack on with the game. The penalty then, Stephen, no messing about, or a little bit of messing about in a sense.
Yeah, he's just sold the keeper, gave him the eyes and just flipped it right down the middle with not a great amount of pace. I mean, he was super confident that he's going to score, and you can't take that away from Engels. He missed one a few weeks ago up at Ross County, albeit he scored a retake, but it hasn't affected his confidence at all, and he looks absolutely deadly from his spot. But this one, it's great to see him going in, but you would like to see him try to find a corner, maybe with a little bit more pace, because if the keeper just stands still there and he just catches it, basically it rolls into his arms, basically. So, but he'll say, that's all part of the skill of taking a penalty. You send the keeper, and then you keep your eye on the keeper, and then when you see him moving, you just roll it to where he's not. So good penalty. Every penalty that hits the back of the net is a good penalty.
Well, the keeper was giving him some yapping before the penalty, and then afterwards, once he'd done what he'd done, he sort of gave him a bit back. You can see he's speaking at the keeper there, shouting at him as he's on the ground, like whatever the Belgian equivalent of "get it right up ye" is.
Well, there'll be two versions, right? I mean, they speak like two languages, I think.
There'll be a Flemish version and a French version.
Right. He yelled both of them at him, yeah.
All right, this is 47 minutes. AJ heads away across after a great passage of St. Mirren play, Brian, and you can see just on the... Oh, you can't see because I don't have it up. Just on the left of the screen, the St. Mirren player is just winding it up. He sees the ball in flight, and he's about to hit it.
That was Phillips. He's big Irish fella, isn't he? Yeah, so the ball was bouncing, and I don't know what happened, but he had a great scored it well, and then they played this song. Anyone hear that? No.
Yeah. I can hear that.
Tom Hark, yeah, and I couldn't remember the name of the song, but yeah, could Casper done better? It was bouncing, it was awkward. There was many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 people, and the 13, and you include Stephen Mulhern in there, so maybe not great, but lucky bounce and it went in. Yeah, 2 each.
Not brilliant from Hatate there. I didn't think he was kind of standing on the edge of the box, not really marking anyone. And if he'd looked to his left, he'd have saw that the midfielder making a late run to get on the end of that. So that should have been his man, and he should have made a challenge.
Goofy, fluky play, man. What can you say? But whatever.
Yeah, they were in it though.
They were in it,
Wasn't
man.
it
They
a
gave us a
game?
proper game.
Just after that, Engels had a chance where the ball got cut back from the byline and for some reason totally spooned it up in the air. I don't know if there's too much to say about that. Oh, then the substitutions happened. How did we feel about the substitutions? Who came on and who came off? Remind us, Stephen.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Obviously, Ida came off. Yeah, Ida came off. I think who came off, and did McGregor come off as well?
McGregor came off, yeah.
So Jota came on, went left. Maeda went central. Ida came off, and I think Kuhn came off. McCowan came on, and McGregor went off. And sorry, Yang came on as well. So
yeah,
I think these are the kind of substitutions we've been seeing. It seems to be getting more and more common that we see Maeda going through the middle. And it's tough to leave Jota out of the team because he's such a game breaker for us. And at that particular point in the game, when the score was quite tight, I think it was all set up for Jota to come on and make a difference and provide some spark, which I think he did. I think he did another really good game. And the move for diving through the middle, I think Ida was a bit lethargic again. Wasn't really great. And I think that might either Maeda through the middle and Kuhn left really sparked us into life. And I think, from that point on, I think we dominated the game. But it's fair to say that St Mirren gave as good as he got up to that point. And we did concede a number of chances, probably for the second game in a row now, because we conceded a few to Hibs as well. So that must be a concern. Defence has gone a bit soft. We've started giving up chances to teams where we weren't earlier in the season. So I think that's something they'll be looking to address on the training field this week. This is the first time for months they've got a free midweek. We don't play till next weekend, next Saturday in the Cup. Or is it Sunday? I think it's next Sunday in the Cup. So they've got plenty of time to rest, recuperate, and work on the things that we've been struggling a bit with. So I hope to see a better defensive performance next week.
Yeah, the game did turn when the subs came on, and not just the subs influence, but Rio Hatate seemed to spring to life as well and was suddenly all over the place, having been largely absent as far as I could see. But on 68 minutes here, Dano, you can see Yang, your man Yang, calling for it. And Hatate finds him beautifully.
Yeah, I think off screen here is Yang's girlfriend yelling at Hatate where to have him hit the ball. But a great pass from Hatate, man. I mean, right on the money, and Yang buried it with authority. So, I mean, it was a great goal. It was just a great goal. So, and Yang spotting that one of the St. Mirren defenders is kind of back behind the line they're trying to create was good stuff. So, the first of his goals, and him scoring a couple goals, and Brendanrodgers talking about his girlfriend after the game.
Yeah, I missed that,
isn't it?
Created a bit of a media thing this week, which I was spotting in Korean media.
So really? It was in the Korean media?
Yeah. So Brendan talking about his... Well, also, I think Yang said he was going to get his girlfriend flowers or something during one of the interviews. I think maybe with the Korean media in the locker room after the game. So everybody's trying to find out who Yang's mystery girlfriend is. I haven't been able to find anything online, but that's been an interesting subplot.
That's disappointing, Dano. I thought you were going to furnish us with a picture tonight. As we can see what the fuss is about.
I was piqued right away, man. I was like, okay, who is this? But I can just picture her. She's obviously she's not anyone famous. She's just like a Korean girl. Maybe she's like taking the opportunity to go over there, study some English while her dude is, playing for Celtic. And I can just picture her getting mentioned by Brendan Rodgers in the interview. She sees it and she's like, oh no, like her phone is blowing up the next day.
No.
She's like, oh
Poor
shit.
thing.
I know, poor girl, man.
She's probably, I mean, I assume she's many times more wholesome than Jude Bellingham's latest squeeze. Don't know if you've been following that news.
Yeah.
But I imagine she's kind of some demure, like Korean girl, quite, conservative and stuff. And now everyone's speculating about what a fuck she is and what she's doing to him and all this kind of stuff.
I missed it. What did Rodgers say? I completely missed it. Rodgers
was saying like his form has definitely turned up. I think it's the influence of his girlfriend who recently came to stay with him, and it's her sardonic input or whatever you want to say, and so that kind of set things off over here, and even among Celtic fans, you see a bunch of people posting about it, like so I could just picture her like, oh fuck, like just watching this video. That's why my phone's blowing up this morning. Everything's going nuts for her. So
Kaiser laying it out in a way that only Kaiser can there. Yang must have had balls like a space hopper because he's way better now they're emptied.
Do you think when you hear Brendan Rodgers talking about Yang, he doesn't seem to take him very seriously, does he?
No.
He's always a bit tongue in cheek. It's always a bit, oh, God love him. He really tries hard.
Yeah,
And,
bless him, he says.
God bless him. And one time he said, "Oh, look at him. We've been practicing. He's took 100 shots in training and eventually scores with a header." So, I'm not sure if Yang's altogether Brendan's cup of tea. But obviously, he's on a bit of a run of form just now, but he doesn't really seem to take him very seriously. You don't hear him talking like that about any other player on the team.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that's strategic too. Like he doesn't want to pile on too much on him if he's talking about him in the media. He kind of knows how to handle him. I'm sure Yang is extremely private too. So like, maybe he's kind of giving him a little. This seems like it's psychological with Rodgers. I don't know if it's how he really views the player though. If he didn't view the player somewhat seriously, he wouldn't really be putting him on. But is he his cup of tea? I mean, that's kind of argumentative. So, it's good though, man. It's great to see him finally scoring some goals for us.
It is. And then Engels was filling in in the Cal Mack role, kind of, and having to do a bit more work. And he got a lot of praise from the commentary team for doing that, tracking back. Do you remember this moment? Goes and steals the ball back off the attacking player here. So Engels had another impressive performance. This was a long Hatate run. This was so exciting, this one, wasn't it? Tate ran like half the length of the pitch. And you're like, yes, what's going to happen? And what did happen, Stephen?
Well, I think it's going high, wide and handsome, isn't it? If I'm remembering this incident correctly.
No, I'm not even sure if I'm remembering it correctly. There was a couple of incidents like this.
It was a 4:30 in the morning kickoff here.
Wasn't it about who he should pass to? He could have passed to Jota. Maeda, he could have maybe slipped through, but I think he tried to play it out here. Let's see what the next slide does. These are his pass options. That's right. This is the offside goal.
Offside goal, yeah.
Offside, yeah.
For Yang. Yeah, that's what happened there. Yang is offside when the ball's played. There you go.
Yeah.
Refresh your memory, offside. Stephen.
Yeah. He finished well. It's a shame, but it's pretty. I mean, not to be overcritical here, but he probably shouldn't have been offside at that point because he's looking along the line. He's got it all in front of him, so he should have been able to time his run a little bit better. But that was probably the only black mark on a great performance from Yang.
Absolutely. All right, then. Another moment as the pressure kept on going and we kept having attacking moves. McCowan hits the woodwork, Brian.
Yeah. Let me see here. My notes. You missed the penalty thing. I thought you would have had that up. Sorry. The Alan Partridge moment. McCowan hit. No, that's next. Sorry. Sorry, what McCann hit the post. Next,
You wonder why nobody pays for our
Did hit the
content.
post.
oh Jesus!
The ball hit the grass stanchion. Yeah.
24 minutes it lasted. Not too bad. Yeah.
The
At the
next
post.
slide, Brian, just for you, Brian. This is the next slide. 86 minutes. AJ challenge. They're numbered. I give them an order, so they've got
I know.
numbers.
I only typed that on like a year in. So AJ challenge. I thought it should have been a penalty. I really do. I thought we got away with one there. Don't know what anyone else says, but I think had Beaton or somebody been on ref, AJ could have walked and could have been a penalty, but could have, should have, would have. But I thought we were very lucky that it was. That's not the drink along today. It's the. I'm not coming on anymore.
Oh, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I thought we got away with one there.
Well, Dano, talk us through the elements of that and why that was or wasn't a penalty.
I mean, I thought he definitely made contact with the player. I thought we got away with one there too. I mean, the moment I watched it, as buzzy as we were here at the Worldwide CSC watch along, it was the eye test. I thought it was a penalty. There was definite contact going on there, but I'm not sure what the refs are thinking or the people up in the VAR booth. Eventually, I mean, they obviously must have reviewed it while the game is still going on, and yeah, I thought we kind of got away with one there too. I thought there was contact, and that would be pretty much it. But anybody have an argument against it?
Well, Kaiser here is saying we didn't get it in the Munich match. That's when Engels was involved in not a dissimilar incident. There was a touch on the ball followed by contact.
Right.
Going to tell me the difference between those two events.
Well, I mean, the difference between the two events, I think, was that Johnston AJ followed through and made a studs up contact with the guy's ankle. So I think that in itself probably made it a penalty for me. But the way the refs looked at it was exactly the same as what you've just said. Is what happened in Munich. He definitely got a touch on the ball, AJ.
Right.
And for them, for the referees, anything after that is irrelevant. And it doesn't matter if he's caught the man after that. He's got the ball. He's made the tackle. The rest of it's just part of the follow through. I don't agree. Just as I didn't agree with the decision in Munich, I think we should have had a penalty in Munich because even although the guy got a slight touch on the ball first, he then stood on Engels' foot and impeded him. So that should have been a penalty for me. And for me, looking at that one from the St Mirren game, I think they should have had a penalty. But I know I can see what their thought process was, and I can see why it wasn't given.
Getting the ball first, yeah.
Paul John Dykes here, who I'm sure we're all very familiar with, his tweet, that was a decision based on the same principle as Engels not getting a penalty against Bayern Munich. The ball was played by the defender first, and then there was non-dangerous contact in the follow-through, as confirmed by Axom's resident ref, Sean Connolly. So that might explain it.
Ref. Amazing.
It explains it, but neither are very satisfactory if you're on the receiving end.
Well, one thing I will say is I did listen to I watched the highlights of the game on Sportscene, and Michael Stewart was on with some other Turkey. I don't know who it was, but the two of them were adamant that AJ had never touched the ball and never get anywhere near the ball, and that's why they were saying it was a laughable decision. And if you had worked on the assumption that AJ hadn't touched the ball, then it was a stone ball penalty. But he did. He clearly did touch the ball. They were talking absolute pish. So it certainly wasn't stone wall. But for me, the follow through contact on the guy's ankle should have made it enough to be a penalty.
I don't know if you can say he clearly got a touch on the ball. It looks like he probably just about scraped it with the edge of his stick.
Yeah, he definitely
got
got a touch on the ball. There's certainly, and the ref didn't give the
photo
penalty.
there.
And we're back to VAR again. If VAR are going to overturn the decision, they need to be 100% sure that there's been a clear and obvious error. Now, unless you could be 100% sure that he didn't kick the ball there,
Exactly.
then they can't overturn that decision, which makes the non-award of Celtic's goal against Hibs all the more ridiculous, because they did overturn the on-field decision when there was almost zero evidence without that ball was over the line. So, look, I can understand the thought process. My opinion was it should have been a penalty to St Mirren, but it wasn't as clear cut as some people are making out.
Yeah, I think, as you say, he probably got a touch, and you can't say for certain that he didn't based on those videos. But I can't say for certain that he did. But as you say, that it shouldn't have been overturned on that basis. All right, 86 minutes, Brian. This is the ball that Yang plays through.
Yeah,
beautiful ball to Maeda. You've got notes on this, Brian. Yeah, you with me?
Yes, I'm with you, Kevin. Yeah.
Page 46.
Yeah, it's no great. I put it down. Great wee bit of footwork from Dyson, a side step or whatever you call it. Did a wee kind of dummy, or probably can't say that word. Did a wee step over and followed it through. Fantastic. So, player of the year. What's that? His 26th goal or something like that. Just running out of superlatives for the man.
Brilliantly taken. What a goal that was! In fact, the whole thing.
I don't know if you can get back to the wee touch, the move he trapped it. Remember Lugo did one.
Have that, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, he just shifts the ball. He just shifts the ball from one foot to the other and puts the defender off balance in one move, and just opens up the whole goal for him. It's a left foot finish into the corner. Absolutely brilliant goal. And again, for those of us who've been saying all year that Maeda wasn't a centre forward, it's just making us look even more foolish, because he certainly is. When you talk about the 26 goals, 3/4 of his games, probably more, have been playing on the left. So that's a winger who scored 26 goals in a season. It's just ridiculous totals, and he's just redefining the expectations of a professional football player in Scotland.
Here's a point from Sarah, Dano's friend from the Drink Along regular.
Yeah.
All we want is we just want answers or something. I can't read that properly. Sorry. Why are we demanding reform for refs and VARs? It's not fit for purpose. That's really the point they're going to have to address at the end of this season, isn't it? Because there's so many of these similar kind of incidents coming up, whether overturning decisions or VAR is refereeing the game in a way that it's overreaching their remit. That is surely what they're going to have to address and then announce for next season, that we're taking this whole idea of clear and obvious error far more strictly. Don't you think, everyone?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the D United are at the forefront of this. They've made a suggestion that the operation of VAR should be taken out of the hands of the SFA, handed to a private operator, and I think that's something that we should be supporting as a club. We should be looking to it's just at the point now where there's far too many mistakes being made, and you can't. There's no accountability for the mistakes either. Willie Collins came out this week and they've said that the Celtic equaliser at Hibs should have been awarded. Okay, great. We've lost 2 points because of that. Where's the accountability? What do we get in return? How do we stop this from happening again? And there needs to be a process of accountability that isn't there at the moment. But if you get that out to a private operator, you can build it into the agreement that if they make a mistake, they lose money or whatever. And that sort of thing. And that's what we should be doing. And Sarah's absolutely correct what she's saying there. We should be backing the D United. I think Hibs jumped in along with them as well to talk about it. And I think that's all the SPFL clubs should be behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a new VAR kind of operator that's just come out. It's Molyneux and Paisley, so they're going to be applying for the SPF contract to do the rules and the ref and all the rest of it. Also, they also have a side partner called Sammy Wilson and Jeffrey Donaldson. So they, one of them wins the contract, then hopefully that'll sort all the VAR stuff out.
Quality operators. But I mean, this also gets back to like the refs are still just part-time, man. What do you expect? Like honestly, what do you expect from part-time jobbies, man? Like throw in the nickel and give them full-time jobs, man.
Did you see Kalina coming out, Pierre Luigi Kalina, saying that there's a real lack of football referees now because of all the grief they're getting, and it's a cancer in the game. The sort of
wouldn't be surprising
decision making and all the rest of it. Certainly wasn't the thing I wanted to do, ever be a referee one game. It was a charity thing years ago, but it's something that you wouldn't want to do. Like, but
at least at that level, you have a little bit of protection from the fans or something like that. I feel for the guys who are in like the part-time leagues, the lower youth leagues and stuff like that. Psycho parents, guys coming up to punch them in the face after a game. That happens in a lot of, youth league American sports too. It's absolutely bonkers, man.
Right, well, let's get back to the last few moments of the game then, because it really sped up towards the end. It was just action.
Yeah,
93 minutes, Schlupp gets to the byline, puts a cross in. Look where Yang is here.
Yeah.
You don't really expect him to get to that based on that still. But he does beautifully, up in the air, heads it down, Dano, like you used to when you were a young man.
Oh yeah. That's exactly carbon copy. What a goal, man. I mean, we just absolutely, flushed him down the toilet at the end of the game, and the water just kept accelerating as they got closer to the bottom. I mean, it was fantastic, and that was icing on the cake. That was just a joyous goal, man. That was fabulous. Really good football, man.
And he probably did head it down, if he'd sort of gone at the normal height, the keeper could have scrambled across for that, but he was so close. It was low. It was perfect.
Yeah, that's what they always tell you, to header it down, and it makes it harder for the keeper. Great assist from Schlupp though, that one. Really good run down the left-hand side, skill, physicality, and an end product. So brilliant assist from him. The only blot on Schlupp's copybook was Mirren's second goal. We didn't really see that there. He allowed the guy to get on the outside and get that cross into the middle. So that wasn't great. And to be fair, you'd have been shouting at Greg Taylor for that. So it's only fair that you take points off Schlupp for that. But if outside of that, it was excellent. And that was just a snapshot of what he's capable of.
Here's a quick question for you. Which St. Mirren player sounds like a surprising pasta?
No.
Who's the most high profile of the St. Mirren players? Can you name any of them from last night, from the game?
I can name the big boy.
Olasanya, no.
Obasanya.
Olasanya.
That's not his name, though, is it? It's Obasanya. His name is
Obasanya.
Oh, it's Basanya. I thought it was an L.
Yeah.
Olasanya.
No.
Oh, that doesn't work.
You made an after that joke.
Okay, let's rewind the tape here. We'll start that again.
Delete.
Yeah, cut that in post. Yeah.
I thought it was Olasanya. I was laughing to myself.
Would you take him? Would you take a punt on him for the SPFL games? No. No. Okay.
Stephen doesn't rate anybody else's players.
I mean,
no pish. Pish.
Pish, yeah. Look, I can say the guys like fair play to Luke McCowan, who's come in and done a job for another SPFL team, and that's not accurate at all. There are players who I can think could come in and do a job for Celtic.
Yeah, right.
But the left back we were talking about from Hearts the other week is not one of them, no. And I don't think Obasanya is one of them either. I think he's Adam Ida's 10 times the player he is. So unless you're going to come in and challenge Adam Ida for a place in the team, then that would be a pointless signing. Sorry,
like there's a
Brian.
Kevin Lasagna in Serie A. It's quite interesting. Is it not? All right. Anyway, yeah. So made an arse of that, which makes me a bit worried about this next bit because.
Yeah.
I've got a song that has been sitting and I haven't played it yet, and I'm loath to. It's quite bad.
Go get it. Come on.
Do it. Get it.
It's quite bad. There's only 100 people watching, so we could maybe sneak it out under the cover of darkness. Not too many people will see it.
Yeah. Go get it on, Gav. Come on, I've made it balls already.
All right. Well, saying this is one of those shows and we're all tired and we're making mistakes left, right, and center, may as well throw it out here. All right. I'm gonna have to gird my loins for this one. Don't know what happened with the. Anyway, as you'll hear, I don't know why I'm so high. I'm very high, not in a 420 sense, but in an octave sense. And this is in praise of Alistair Johnson. And Brian, interestingly for you, it's in the style of Stiff Little Fingers. All right, so against all my better judgment, here we go.
Yes.
What was that stadium announcer?
Canadian Alistair.
Oh, right.
Stadium announcer.
How many takes did the high
vocals
register
vocals there by Joe Pesky.
Joe Pasquale.
Oh,
fair play.
I don't know why it went so high.
Your volume's better. The production is definitely improving, Gav, because we can hear you now.
Canadian Ulster.
Canadian Ulster. Brilliant.
Oh dear. Right, let's move it on.
You were worried about that. That's why you're feeling low, because you were coming in and in the back of your mind you were thinking, I'm gonna have to play this song, but as always, it's brilliant.
That's always.
That one was genuinely fucking good, man. I love that.
You haven't done a bad one. I would have 2 or 3 per show.
Dude, I mean, the worse it is, the better it is. Like that's how this works. It's great.
It's the sound you make when you burn your finger. It's just Big Des. Or David Beckham-esque. The worst thing about that is when that started playing, I can see everyone's faces, and Stephen just started pissing himself and had his hands in front of his face.
I just wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting the high voice, the high octave. It just sort of caught me off guard a bit.
That got me too, man.
I mean, I'm a veteran of these performances, but that one was out of its own.
Oh, so good. So good.
That's okay. Well, I'm getting lots of love in the comments, so I appreciate that from Celtman and everybody else. So that's fine. All right. So do we want to have a quick word on the goings on across the city? How much we enjoyed the fixture or the result before our game?
Glorious.
That was glorious. Dano, how much did you dance in the streets?
That's got to be the source of us getting fucking wasted during our watch along. I mean, that's got to be part of it. I mean, everybody just seemed to come in like high. I mean, we had more people viewing it. The numbers were pretty amazing. I think by the end of the game it was like 350. There was, everybody was just kind of ready to party after that. So I mean, it was never in doubt once we started playing. St. Mirren gave us a game, but it was like, we're going to take this game, man. We got to. So, that's got to be half of why David and Kaiser were just bloody by the end of the game, man. But
did anyone watch that game at all?
I watched the end of it. I watched
the extended highlights today. And I think what made it all the more funny was that Armed Forces Day nonsense that they insist on wheeling out every year. A kind of military cosplay where they've got them abseiling down from the roofs, and they've got them firing cannons, and they've got all sorts. There was one guy in the stands there. It was a dead ringer for Windsor Davis out at 8.5 Optimum. That's another one for the kids who won't remember that one. And I just thought the whole thing was just hilarious, And surely to God, I mean, I know that none of us here are going to be great fans of the British Army, but surely there's somebody in the British forces who's looking at that and thinking, what an embarrassment. We should be having nothing to do with this. Surely there's some sanity still prevails out there, and having seen grown men dressed up like that, they're thinking, this is a terrible idea. To put it this way, I think if Vladimir Putin, if he was watching that, is not going to be too worried about the Keir Starmer's British boots on the ground in Ukraine. If that's the standard of boots that are going to be on the ground. So I think absolutely hilarious. And I can't believe they're still wheeling this out. I think back in the 1990s, there was a famous quote by David Murray, and he was talking about when Celtic run out to the Celtic song by Glenn Daly. It's a really old-fashioned tune, and David Murray had said something along the lines of, "As long as I hear them playing that song, then I know we're always going to be ahead of them." And he's implying that we were just stuck in the past and would never catch them. But for me now, as long as I can see them doing that nonsense and firing cannons in their stadium and abseiling down off the stands, then I know they are totally screwed. Because that's all they've got. That's all they've got to cling to is some military cosplay. It reminded me of one of those medieval battle things that you see people subscribing to out in a field somewhere, where some slightly weird people get dressed up in armour and kid on fight each other. It's just totally bizarre, and it made the result, the ensuing hilarity, all the sweeter.
Do you think this is part of the pending 49ers takeover? It's like a condition because they have to do it like NFL style now, because that's totally common at American flyovers with the Blue Angels or stealth fighters or whatever, and guys parachuting onto the field. Maybe it's a condition of the takeover. Look, you guys have to do a lot more military cosplay if we're going to play ball here. I don't know, but that's what it reminded me of. Seeing that shit, I was like, man, it's kind of shocking how totally normal this is in America, to be honest.
And another, the Hall of Famer Tavernier's 500th game. It's almost set up to lose, because did you see the chance he had at the end? He had a chance that was to equalise.
And he's gave the ball away for their second goal as well. He's been a very lazy pass forward, hands possession back to them, and they go through the gears and score. So that's hilarious that on that day of all days, it sums up how standards have fallen that far over at Ibrox, when a guy like James Tavernier can rack up 500 games and just be absolutely crap. And they'd love to see him. They would love to chase him out the door. They would love to see the back of him. It's almost a pathological hatred their fans have for him now, because he's just a loser, and will continue to be a loser. And Jack Butland as well, another one of the great white hawks who they were hoping to punt for $1 gazillion in the summer. Now they won't be. They're not going to be able to give him away. And he's going to. And
he's on big dose.
I was going to say that. Yeah, he's going to be on about 40 grand a week, and he's going to be one that they'll have identified that they have to move on, and they're going to take a massive bath on his transfer fee for what they thought they were going to get, because his forms just fell through the floor.
Yeah,
it's even his formation. The team Ferguson picked. I know nothing about Rangers, but he had Cherney, Hadji, and one of these other show ponies in the middle of the pitch, 4-4-2. And there's no way. Everyone knew Motherwell would come in with 5 hard men in the midfield. It's a given. And then he decided that, it's 2-0 down, I better change things here. I want to bring standards back to Rangers, all this. Listen here,
it's almost as if the guy that had a 27% win rate at Alloa Athletic is actually a shit coach after all. I mean, who'd have thought
Right.
It's like putting McAvenny in. Sorry, Dano, it's like putting Frank McAvenny in as manager. That's what it's like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
You know, but I watch this. Yeah, I've heard it. You've heard it here first. I bet you Alan McGregor will be itching to get back onto the pitch. See if he can come out of retirement at 45 or whatever age he is. He just, I wouldn't be surprised.
You wouldn't rule it out, would you?
Wouldn't rule it out. Or even Barry sticking the jersey on, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, they're all over the place, so it's always fun to watch. But we need to concentrate on ourselves, don't we? And what's coming up next is, well, this cup game against Hibs is shaping up to be massive. Let's just have a quick look at, the form. This is the form. Yeah, the form table. The two form clubs in the country. Celtic against Hibs, as you can see there. Did anyone watch the Edinburgh derby?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it.
I watched some of that. It was good. It was an entertaining game.
Good game, man.
Yeah. Like I think
some good players on show there.
Man.
I think you're right, Gav. I think it's a big game, potentially the biggest game we've got left in the season, considering the league's more or less wrapped up now, and the Hibs are definitely the best team left in the cup. So you would have to think that they're the ones standing between us and a treble, and it will be a really tough game for us. But one thing I think that Rodgers has showed over the course of the season is that when he has a bad result, the next time he plays that team, we absolutely scud them. It happened when Aberdeen took a point off us at Celtic Park. It happened when the United took a point off us up there, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen to Hibs as well. I think we'll probably beat them fairly handily at Celtic Park. They are a good team, and they are playing well, and we'll have to be at our best. And I really hope we can cut out the amount of chances that we're giving up at the moment. We have to defend better for sure. But I think there's goals in this Celtic team from all over the pitch, and I think we'll have too much for them on the day. But for sure, I think it's probably the cup final before the cup final.
Yeah,
and David Gray's just got the dreaded Manager of the Month award, so you know what happens after that? They just fall off. So, yeah.
Isn't it crazy to see the form between Hibs and Aberdeen just completely flip from the first part of the season until now? I mean, Hibs are like almost damn near unbeatable, and I mean Aberdeen have just absolutely fallen off a cliff on fire, man.
The funny thing is, Dano, you can trace it all back to a game between Hibs and Aberdeen earlier in the season when it was a it was a wild game. I think it finished 3 each or something like that, and Hibs equalised in stoppage time. And back at that time, Hibs were bottom of the league, and Aberdeen were sitting in second. I think only a point or two behind us. And they had scored to go ahead, I think, in the final minute of the game, and thought they had it wrapped up. Then Hibs equalised in stoppage time. It was a wild game, and Hibs have never looked back since. They went on a really good run, and Aberdeen's form was just dropped like a stone. So amazing how that's turned around so quickly. And I think if either one of them had managed to maintain their form for even 3 quarters of the season, Rangers would have a real battle in their hands for second place. That would have been, I think that would have been too funny for words.
With how they're playing, they might have a battle. Even so,
I don't think so. I think that I think they're further out. There's more points between Rangers and Hibs in third than there is between us and Rangers. So I don't think that's a serious possibility. But certainly, if Hibs' revival had started a few weeks before it did, then that would have been a genuine possibility. And you're right, their form's pretty crap as well.
Yeah.
So in the cup, then these are the fixtures: Hearts, Dundee, Aberdeen, Queen's Park, Celtic, Hibs, Livingston, St Johnstone. I'm assuming that's also the draw, right? The winner of our game plays the winner of Livingston, St Johnstone.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll go in the hat again.
Oh, they're going in the hat again.
Yeah, I thought they had.
I think they go in the hat again after that. Yeah, so I mean, this is definitely Hibs are definitely certainly if not the best team. They're certainly the forum team out of all the others that we could have drew. So I'm delighted it's at Celtic Park. Put it that way.
Yeah,
I think if it had been at Easter Road, it would have been even more difficult. Be a difficult enough game as it is. But I'm happy it's at home.
Interesting here, Sarah saying Rangers have 5 games to solidify second. As I say, I'm really hoping things fall the way of the Hearts game being the key one. I think it's unlikely. It's more likely to be St Johnstone, isn't it? But who knows? I don't know what their fixtures are after this, but you wouldn't put it past them to drop some more points.
I think they've got Hibs to play before the end of the regular season, before we go to the split, and they've also got the last game before the split is away to Aberdeen. So I don't think this is going to. I think we're going to be champions before the split, regardless of what happens, because there's not a chance they're taking maximum points off Hibs and Aberdeen, and I think we'll beat them as well at Celtic Park. So I think you're probably maybe one game too early, Gav. But if we beat them at Celtic Park, then the Hearts game will be just party time. So it'll be good fun regardless, because it's a procession to the title now.
Okay, well, speaking of good fun, let's, as we promised, insert a little bit of humour with educating Dano. I've got a few Scottish expressions here to see if Dano knows where they come from, and possibly Brian and I don't know where they come from, but we might know the meaning of them. So Stephen has to be on hand to be dictionary corner. Rachel Riley with a beard.
No, don't accuse me of that. Rachel Riley? Fuck's sake.
Well, I don't mean politically, I just mean on the show. All right. So, Dano, your first expression, can you give us the meaning of when someone is given his jotters?
Given his jotters, I would say maybe sent the fuck away, go on, get out of here. No?
That's the right answer. I have no idea where it comes from, Stephen.
I get jotters.
I don't
it's to get fired. It's to get sacked,
fired
like a
from
manager.
your job.
Yes, a manager getting
fired. Yeah, okay.
Being told to go away.
Yeah.
No, it's anyone.
I'm doing a Carl Pilkington.
Job.
You go away, the Mew. You go away, the Mew. Yeah.
All right. So why are you giving your jotters if you're fired?
It's just an adaptation of the phrase "giving your papers." Handed your P45 or whatever the term is in the US. Whatever papers you get when you get sacked from a job or relieved of employment. That's your jotters.
Because jotters,
a jotter is a word for an old school book that you used to get that was blank with lines in it. And that was your jotter. You had your maths jotter and your English jotter and all that sort of thing. So,
well, obviously on the sheet back in the day, sorry.
Yeah.
They're like jotting down the info on the sheet, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Here's another one for you then. Stunner.
A stunner.
STAUNER.
A stunner. I mean, maybe it is something stunning that happened, like a stunner goal. I doubt I'm right about that. Stunner. I don't know.
Sammy?
Well, would it help if I said, if a goal went in, you said, it's such a gorgeous goal, it gave me a stunner?
Yeah, that would help. An erection, shall we say? Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay.
Stephen, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, a stunner is the Scottish adaptation. I guess it means a stander or something like that. It's a stunner, means it's stunning up.
Standing up, yeah.
It's an erection, as Gav so eloquently put it.
Yeah.
Brian, you've got something you'd like to point out there?
No.
I thought you had something to say about a stunner. Okay, here's a
I
similar word.
I thought you were going to do show and tell there, Brian.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
hung like a squirrel.
We can put Brian on the spot for a couple of these, right? I mean, you guys.
Okay, well, we'll throw this one to Brian then.
Okay.
Brian, what is laldi?
Laldi?
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I haven't a laldi.
What's the part of speech?
Give me.
Well, that gives it in context is
Give me
important.
a context.
Say,
Yeah.
look at your man over there. He's giving it laldy.
Giving it welly, is it? Giving it loads. Is that what it means? No, giving it laldy.
Over to Stephen.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty
Heavy.
much it. Yeah, giving it loudy means you're applying yourself 100% to the
Applying
particular
yourself.
task.
I was applying
Well done, young man.
task at
You're really
hand.
applying yourself 100%.
I was applying myself with copious amounts of wine during the drink along.
Yeah, that's great. Brian, that's what you say. Brian was giving it a laldy into the wine during the drink along.
I was applying myself. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh.
With gusto.
And then maybe the final one is, well, let me see, Stoter. Dano.
I mean, so this is a noun, adjective. It gets a noun.
Look at Ian's comment. You can have a stunner and give it laldy.
Well, I hope you're giving it loudly when you have a stoner and you've got the opportunity.
Don't waste it. It'll be your last one.
What is Stoter? Sturgis? I guess maybe it's related to stutter, like you're an idiot, you're a moron. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never heard that one.
Stephen?
Well, stoter would be applied to something that's quite attractive. Or something very, very attractive, often applied to a member of the fairer sex who's good looking. So you look at her, she's a wee stoter or something like that. But it can be applied to in a sort of sarcastic sense to somebody who's a complete idiot.
Yeah, right.
You know what a stoter he is. So it's
Okay,
one of those words. It's one of those words that can be
Confusing.
used in a variety of contexts.
So I guess I was partially right, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not far away.
Got a piece of it. Got a piece of it there.
Okay. I think we'll leave the educating Dano at that. We'll come back to some American pronunciations another time, but that was good fun.
Oh, we're not doing it today? Oh. All right.
Not the American pronunciations. We're 1 hour and 4 minutes already. We'll just fly through some of these Celtic socials. I just saw this photograph and thought it was interesting. Look how Big Ange is not that big compared to our
Big
goalkeeper.
Joe
Previous
Hart.
goalkeeper.
Mm.
He's actually quite small, Big Ange, isn't he?
Wee Ange.
Oh, there's this thing, Jiz. Do we want to do this or will we leave this for another day?
No, get it done.
Okay, these are Celtic players from the past. Well, let's just do these 4. See if you can work out who these
David
4 are.
Hay, number 1. Davy Hay.
David Hay is correct, number 1. I don't know the answers, by the way, but
Jerry Craney.
Gary Craney, well
Craney.
done.
Craney.
I got that one. I didn't get either of the next 2.
Next one, Roy
Roy the Rovers. It's not Roy
Roy
Keane.
Baines.
Roy
There's a guy called
Roy
Baines.
Aiken.
Roy Aiken.
Aiken.
Yeah, that's it.
Next one, Baby
Baby Billy Connolly's. What the hell is that?
somebody Connolly.
Big Ian.
George Connolly? No. George Connolly, just because I can't.
I've got it. I know it. Wayne Biggins.
Wayne Biggins.
Wayne
that's
Biggins.
clever.
Yeah, okay.
That is very clever. All right, we'll leave the other.
No, give us the other 2. Come on, flip sake.
Oh Christ, we're going to be here all night.
We need it. We're nearly done. Come on.
Okay.
Right, here we go. So something muscles. Bob Horse.
Okay, so
Right, first one's Mike Cow, Mike Bull,
Oh no, I got this one.
That one's Mike Galloway.
Mike
Very
Galloway.
good. Steve.
Number
Galloway.
6 is Mike
Galloway
Galloway.
is a breed.
Yeah.
Mark Nisbet is in with number 5.
Stuart Armstrong. Yep.
Stuart
Yeah.
Armstrong. What would this be like? Reggie.
Reggie Blinker.
Reggie
Reggie
Blinker,
Blinker.
correct for number 8.
Rasta horse. There we go.
Rasta horse.
Right.
That famous striker, Rasta horse.
Yeah,
Rasta
what a player he
horse.
was. He was
What
a
a
player and a
player.
half.
What a player.
He was a stoter.
Yeah, it's Reggie Blinker. That's correct. But
What about
number
7,
7.
Yeah, I can't really see that. What is that? What is that?
Well,
It's like a pinball
I
machine.
think. Oh, that is. That's what it is. That should help you. Music fans.
Tommy Coyne.
Tommy
Tommy
Coyne.
McCoyne.
Brilliant.
Uh-huh.
As in the Who.
Yeah,
Tommy.
Tommy Coyne.
Well, that was
Cobra
good. We
Coyne.
had some fun with that.
Those are good, man.
That was good. And
Mm.
just to find a little picture. This is one that Dano sent in.
Ah,
A quick sketch of the handsome one.
I just, man, I'm just loving Jota being back, man. Seriously, it's just fantastic. And what is the Twitter channel this is from? He always kind of has a really basic kind of Fitbit tweets, man. It's amazing. Big up to Ian from here on the channel for hipping me to that Twitter account. It's fantastic. But yeah, I did like the simplicity of that representation of Jota, and good stuff.
Yeah, it is amazing to have Jota back. I can't quite believe
It's
it. There's
just-
a bit of an American pronunciation for us, Jota. We got one of them in.
Jota.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind
Jota.
of deed the T. Yeah, I know.
And you made the O like a, I don't know how you express that. As opposed to an O, it's an O, Jota.
Jota.
As in Yoda.
It's not really an awe. It's not like Jota. Oh no.
Yeah,
it
we
is?
say Jota. We say Jota. Proper
Well, yeah,
people
but how
say
do they say it? How do they say it in Portuguese? not
Exactly like
in the UK. Who gives a shit? It's the Portuguese name. I'm pretty sure it's an O, bro.
Talking of Portuguese, Thursday evening, is anyone watching the comeback of Jose Mourinho coming back to Ibrox? I'll be watching that.
Eh,
Yeah, I won't be watching.
nah.
It's the middle of the night. We don't get up for that. We don't
All right,
have
no, for
stoners for that club. We have stoners for one club only. All right, gents, that was an unusual show. Despite some tiredness all around, I think we got through that. There was some useful visual aids there. Thank you for everyone in the comments for all the crack. That was great. As always, enjoyed having you. Always enjoy having Brian and Stephen, and great to have Dano back in the fold.
Yes, good to be back, Kev.
Okay, so we're back on Thursday, and there's no game prior to that, Stephen. The next game is the following weekend. So
yeah, it's a big cup tie. You can do an in-depth preview of that with predicted lineups, score predictions, and all that sort of thing. So that's going to be a cracker. 2 a.m. Sydney time kickoff on Monday morning. So I'm going to I'll need to clear my diary for Monday. Work, put it that way.
Yeah,
thanks to everyone in the comments who's wishing us farewell. We'll see you on Thursday. All right, lads, take it easy.